Hi everyone, my name is Elena Mohanraj and welcome back to Musical Theatre Time with Ali. I know it's been about 2.5 years since I recorded a video, but I'm back and I can't wait to share with you some of the things that I've been up to in the past couple of years. This video is going to be talking about everything that I've done so far and what you can expect to see in the future from this channel, because it is something that I do really want to do. I'm really passionate about sharing my experiences now that I am in the industry as a fresh graduate, as an international performer, as an Indian national performer. I feel like all of these things can be relatable and useful to people, and I really am passionate about sharing the information and helping other people out. So if you've never seen me before, hi, my name is Elena Mohanraj. I am 22 years old and I am from Bangalore, India. I am a professional musical theatre performer that trained at the Trinity Laban Conservatoire of Music and Dance. I graduated last year and hold a Bachelor of Arts honours degree in musical theatre performance. I have loved musicals ever since I was young. I grew up in a musical family, and at the age of 11 years old, in my first vocal training class, I was introduced to musical theatre, and from the age of 11 years old, I knew this is what I've wanted to do my whole life. So I've worked my whole life towards it. I left India in 2020 during the pandemic to study at Trinity Laban, and I have been trying to make it work ever since. So that's just a little bit about me. If you'd like to know a little bit more, I introduce a lot more and explain a lot more about myself in the first video on this channel. So my first year at Trinity Laban was incredible. It was such an amazing learning curve. Although we did have another lockdown in the UK in January 2021, in which we were not allowed to go to college and I was in halls. We did many hours of dancing in kitchens, having singing lessons in rooms. It was all worth it when we finally got to work with each other for our first year showcase, which was a legit showcase. If you don't know what legit is, legit means a type of style in musical theatre which involves more lyrical singing. So we usually put that time period pre-1965. Some examples you might know are like Sound of Music, My Fair Lady, Singing in the Rain, Carousel, and so on and so forth. So we had our first showcase and it was a huge moment for me because I also got to sing a duet. I got to be a part of a group and really work a show in a musical theatre college for the very first time. My second year at college, I also now began to understand more about the industry, how it worked. I also got the incredible and amazing opportunity to audition for Camelot, which was produced by Lambert and Jackson Productions, which featured Ramin Karimlu, Lucy St. Louis, Bradley Jaden, and many more West End stars. Lambert and Jackson came into college in November 2021, looking for 30 students to form the ensemble for Camelot. Now, I was very excited to even get the opportunity to audition because Ramin Karimlu is one of my role models, and to even be in the same room with him, I would probably pass out. And they also mentioned in the cast breakdown that they were looking for featured ensemble members, which meant that featured ensemble would mean that they would have a particular solo line or particular acting lines to do, which would be solo and would feature them on stage. I remember auditioning for the show. I remember thinking that I was just so grateful for the opportunity to even be in that room, let alone having this great opportunity. And also, I should mention that they were performing this at the London Palladium, which, if you don't know where the London Palladium is, that is on the West End, which, if you've probably gathered by now, is my biggest dream, or was my biggest dream to achieve at the time. I got the email and I made it. And not only that, I was selected out of 80 people that auditioned that I would be a featured ensemble member, which meant that I would get a small solo line. I was thrilled, to say the least is an understatement. And in January, and on Feb 6th, 2022, I made my West End debut on the London Palladium stage alongside some of my friends as well. It was a very special moment for me. It was very surreal to be on the London Palladium stage, and taking your first bow on that stage is pretty magical, and seeing a full standing ovation crowd of people was very, very cool. I remember thinking two things. One of the things I thought was, I love this, and this is what I was born to do. And the second thing I thought was, how quickly can I get back here? And it was just a magical night. I actually did get to speak to a lot of the cast members, including Ramin. He's very sweet and he's very lovely. And he also mentioned, and I did ask him if he knew any Indian performers, and he said no, and that I was the first one that he'd ever met that was performing within the musical theatre world. March of 2022, I would get called into the office, the admin office at Trinity Laban with Natalie, and she would then tell me that Lambert and Jackson had contacted her to ask if I was available in the summer of that year, in August specifically. And I remember thinking yes, and I remember also thinking if I had done something wrong because I was really nervous. And she then told me that Lambert and Jackson was staging the Secret Garden musical at, again, the London Palladium, but this time they want to give me a professional job role playing the Aya, which is otherwise translated as to the Indian maid within the story. But it would be my professional debut, and that moment was pretty life impacting. Let me tell you, it was crazy to think that they trusted me enough. They remembered who I was, because again, I was in a group of 30 people, and they thought that we really want to give it a chance to shine and give it the opportunity to shine. And so I said yes, and it was probably one of the most incredible experiences, because I also had the opportunity to buy a sari and wear a sari on the London Palladium stage, making my West End debut. It was directed by Nick Winston and featured Hadley Fraser, Emma Williams, Darcy Jacobs, and many, many more. We had a huge cast. Everyone was so lovely and so welcoming, and also featured Maya Queensbreed, who will come up later on in this video. But everyone was lovely. I remember the day of the show, I felt really nervous but also really excited at the prospect of being able to see and be on that stage. There was also marketing material that went out, and I saw my face on a cast list poster. I saw my name as well there, and alongside all these incredible performers and creatives, and I just thought, this can't get any better. But it did. When I performed, I also had the amazing privilege that my mother was in the audience, and she very sweetly said to me, I told her, she came 2 days before the show, which was on the 28th of August 2022, and she came on the 26th, and I said, Ma, do you want to see any West End shows? Do you want to see, what? And she said, no, I want to say the first West End show I've ever seen in my life had my daughter in it. And she very much got to say that when she saw me on stage in a sari doing the thing I do. So the Secret Garden happened before my third year at drama school, so it was again very special, because it's not every day that you get to make your professional debut before you have even graduated. Had the dreaded agent season. Now what agent season is in drama schools anyway, is when a lot of agents have books and they have clients, and they usually every year around a particular time, which is usually March, April, they open their books again to go into colleges and audition graduates. Now, some of the criteria, I think, as an agent is that you stand out as a performer, and also that they do not have someone that is like you, either in appearance or in skills and capabilities, or also cast abilities, because they're looking for people that can go into the industry right now or be applicable for things that are in running or on revival or on tour or things like that. So agent week is always really stressful, and it was very stressful for me because obviously you really want to do well in front of them. And also eventually what would happen is you would go in for an audition, speak with the agent, do 2 songs of your choice. Usually they'd be contrasting and playing to your strengths. So if you'd like to do one which is more like lyrical and legit, like I mentioned in first year, because your strength is that, you would present that. And also if you'd want to do more pop rock songs, so like pop songs or rock songs, because you felt that you could have that in your voice, you present that. So they were really up to you to decide which pieces you thought would showcase you best. So the ones I chose were Monster from Frozen was my first choice, and my second choice was How Could I Ever Know from The Secret Garden.
If I'm a monster and it's true, there's only one thing that's left for me to do. But before I fade to white, I'll do all that I can to make things right. Forgive me, can you forgive me and hold me in your heart and find some new way to love me now that we're apart.
We had a very stressful week with a lot of agents coming in, and like I said, what would happen is an agent would come in, they would audition you, and then you'd get an email saying that they have had interest, and the agent could either ask to meet with you in person or ask for further self-tapes. Once they have done that, they then talk to the agency and talk amongst themselves, and then either they give you an offer or they say that you would not fit with the agency for X, Y, and Z reason. I was very lucky in the fact that I was able to audition a lot and get many different agents express interest in me. And one of the agents that expressed interest with me was Michelle Blair Management. Michelle Blair Management is the agency that I am currently signed with. I went into that room, I sang Monster from Frozen, did self-tapes for them. I did 7 self-tapes, in fact. It was quite a lot of self-tapes, I guess, to cover everything that I could do. And they not only asked for singing, they also asked for acting self-tapes, and they also asked for a dance self-tape as well. After that, they'd invited me to an in-person meeting to chat with them about what I want from my career, what they see me in, what I can do, what my abilities are, how far would I be willing to work and push myself in different directions. And I had a chat with one of my agents, Andrew, who I love dearly, and we had a 1.5-hour conversation. And for me, what's really important, they always say, is that you feel like they understand you, understand what your visions and goals are, and really get a sense of the relationship, the working relationship that you have with your agent is really important. And I remember how important it was for me to have an agent that understood that my ambitions are big. I have big ambitions. I'm also someone that is very proud of her heritage and where she comes from and champions it on a daily basis, and also would want an agent that would support me going into an industry knowing very likely that I would somehow get microaggressions or backlash or snide comments based on certain things just because of the way I am, the way I look. So I was able to have the meeting with Andrew, and he then offered me the contract the next day. And I knew for me that they could give me the platform and the tools and support that I needed to go into this industry feeling like I could achieve the dreams that I wanted to achieve. And so I was very lucky that I signed with them in April of 2023. So it's almost coming up to a year now with Michelle Blair. And it's been absolutely wonderful. They've been such a supportive, creative team for me. They have pushed me for auditions. They have been able to put me in so many rooms which I never thought I'd be in. And they're always super supportive. They've come to see me in my shows, which I'm going to be talking about, Thursford and Diana as well, and it was lovely to see them there. we finished. I was done with college, which meant now that I was in the industry and the world. The only problem with that was, although I was signed to Michelle Blair in April, I did not have a working graduate visa. Now, I was on a student visa, and my student visa would expire in November of 2023. To get a graduate visa, you need to show certification that you have passed your course, which comes from college, and applied through many different steps. Now, the college could only give my results in the earliest possible time would be August, according to them, but my agents asked if they could bring it forward because they wanted to start putting me for auditions. That period was really tough for me because I had signed with this incredible agency. I was raring to go. I really wanted to do auditions, but I couldn't because I needed a graduate visa, and that they cost money. They are expensive fees if you talk to any international performer. And also a graduate visa gives you 2 years after you've completed a course, and then you'd have to apply for another visa. So it gives you 2 years of working experience essentially in the UK. And also with visas, if any of you have ever applied for any sort of visa, you know that even if the slightest paperwork is out of place, you could reject your visa and you'd have to start all over again. So I'm very lucky that my agents were very, very, very behind, trying to do everything they possibly could to get the graduate visa across, along with my parents, who really helped me with the paperwork and also financially. Everyone wanted to get me to get this visa as soon as possible so that I could start auditioning for different shows that were coming up, because now I wanted to get into the industry and do that. During this time of in between, I had an audition, my first professional audition, for this Christmas show you might know of, called the Thursford Christmas Spectacular. This was my first professional audition, and my agents had highly recommended the show to me as they had clients who had done it. It was a 3-month contract starting from the end of September and went up to the December 23rd. I would be also living at the time, if I were to agree or get this contract, in Norfolk, which is slightly to the east and up of London, 2.5 hours up. So yeah, it looked really interesting, and I remember going for my audition. I remember singing my songs, and then I got recalled into the movement round, and I did that. I went back home in June to see my family because being in London means that I can't regularly go back and see my family who all live in India. So I could only go once a year during the summers of my college time. So on June 15th, I got a call from my agent saying that I had been offered the role of the vocalist, mezzo-soprano, second mezzo-soprano to be more exact, in the Thursford Christmas Spectacular. And it was very special because I was able to celebrate that with my family. My first professional job out of college with an agent in this world, and of course my second one because I had done Secret Garden, but this was for a longer period of time. So it was really special that I got that phone call to say that I was going to be in a show. It was going to be a huge show and a huge learning experience for me, and I was very, very excited to get started. At the end of my trip, the night before I was supposed to fly, I get another call from my agent. So I'm really wondering what's going on, because I thought it would be for my graduate visa, right? To get updated news on what the college was saying or what they were doing from their end. Andrew called me and he said that Lambert and Jackson Productions had contacted them. Lambert and Jackson, to jog your memory, Camelot, Secret Garden, and Get Your Gun. Same people, same producers. They had contacted my agents to tell them that they wanted to offer me the role of Sarah Spencer, Diana Spencer's sister, in the musical concert version of Diana the Musical, which would be held in December. I freaked out again, understatement. I was like, whoa. But the only catch was Diana was doing the other job that I got, which was Thursford, and they overlapped at the same time. But what was handy was that Diana was a 1-week rehearsal process and a 1-night only performance. But it also meant at the same time that week in Thursford, as I now know, because I am here now telling you this story, I would be doing 2 shows a week while going back and forth. I remember my agent telling me that we might not be able to do Diana, which obviously gutted me at the time because I would love that opportunity, especially because, again, they had thought of me and they'd offered me the part. And I also knew that Maya Queensbridge, who I mentioned that I met her in Secret Garden, was actually playing the younger Diana, Princess of Wales. And the older Diana was being played by Kerry Ellis, who is a West End star / legend in her own right. So I really wanted this opportunity, but also understood because I had already given my priority to Thursford that doing Diana might not be an opportunity just because of how many days I would need off, etc. during shows. But again, my agents being incredibly negotiable and persuasive managed to let Thursford give me a couple of days off, or NAs as we like to call it, during that period of time to allow me to fit in going to London for rehearsals and then coming back and doing shows. I knew it was going to be hectic. I didn't realize how hectic it would be. But I was really excited about that, the prospect of it happening. So I was really... September, I was ready, the end of September, 25th of September to be exact, 2023. I went for my first ever Thursford rehearsal in the Salvation Army Hall on Oxford Street in London. And I just saw this incredible group of people just all meeting each other and chatting. And because Thursford has been on for 47 years, a lot of the cast members are recurring cast members, so they know each other. Now I know this, but at the time I was like, everyone knows each other. What am I doing here? Scared. But I would soon come to realize that they were all extremely welcoming and supportive and warm. And that's also where I met so many of the people I know now that I'm really, really close to. And Thursford, we rehearsed for 3 days. I remember when we learned the score and when we sang it in group singing, the sound, I had never been a part of a choir that just sounded so incredible. All of them are so talented and so incredibly precise with all their harmonies that for me, I felt even just lucky to be sitting there, let alone being a part of such an incredible cast of singers. We had 56 singers and we had 8 different parts. We had first sopranos, second sopranos, first mezzo-sopranos, second mezzo-sopranos, which I was a part of, first tenors, second tenors, first basses and second basses. We had 8 parts altogether. So yeah, we did rehearsals in London and then I travelled to Norfolk. And it was an incredible experience with rehearsals as well, just piecing the show together, understanding how a company works, understanding dynamics with it, and also feeling really excited to be a part of such an incredible show. And that's when we also met the dancers, who are absolutely incredible. If you don't know, the Thursford dancers are very similar to the Rockette dancers in New York City. They're meant to be idealed of that, and they really are incredible dancers. So there were 24 of them. They were all female identifying dancers as well. And it was just incredible to see them. And then we had the absolute privilege of singing with a 32-piece orchestra. Incredible. I know, huge, big, scary, yes, exciting, totally, so all of this for my first, long contract of a job was really a blessing because I learned so much about how to pace myself during shows, how to give myself the grace to time and rest and do different things. And then we opened on the 8th of November and we just started performing to 1,400 people that auditorium fit. And all days, if not most days, it was sold out. So I would be able to sing and do the thing that you love for such a huge amount of people. Sharing it with people that became close to me was also so amazing. So I really it was really a life-changing experience for me, because it affirmed me so much more what I had known all those years ago when I was 11, that this is what I want to do. And it really is. It really was. And then the week of Diana came, and that was a whole other ball game. But again, with the help of so many people around me at Thursford who supported me, encouraged me, kept me going, and traveling back and forth to London, and also doing shows at the same time, and then also rehearsing for this other show, and all these things, it really put into perspective how much performers do and how much you don't see when you are an audience member watching. You have no idea what a performer has had to go through behind the scenes for you to watch them perform and look like they're having an absolute ball. Because let me tell you, there were some days I was not having an absolute ball. There were some days I was such an anxious mess. I was so exhausted and so tired. But let me tell you, when I get on that stage, or when I see people in front of me, especially kids, absolutely enjoying Christmas, it does something to me, and it makes me just light up and shine and radiate all my good energy. And sometimes it helped me get through, but also it made me acknowledge that so many performers that we see every day give it everything they've got, regardless of what's going on outside in their lives, or they bring that with them and get people around them to support them. And I met so many people who, we all supported each other through this crazy time, and it got tired and it got stressful, but I'd always know that I had people who were willing to be there for me, give me the space, talk to me, make me food and dinner when I didn't have the time to make food and dinner. And my love for them and respect for them as not only performers but as people just tripled and doubled. And I have to say that having my mother fly in from India and watch me do that show and standing on that stage was just a milestone, a highlight for me in life generally. So yeah, I'm really happy that she got to see me do that. She also came for Diana the musical, which now I realize when the cast list came out had Alice Fern, Andy Hobson, Denise Welch, Jay Perry, Kerry Ellis. Just how, and obviously Maya Queensbury leading the charge. I was in a room of West End legends, and let me tell you, I was stoked and stunned that I shared a dressing room with Alice Fern and Maya. It was crazy, and it was just so amazing that they took me in really and made me one of their own, and it was so amazing to receive advice from them and just chat with them really, because doing a show with them you know. And it was at the Eventum Apollo, which is the biggest venue I've ever performed in. 3,665 people were all there, and Diana was crazy. It was really crazy. If you've read the reviews, or the audience was very participative. I had a few lines that really landed well. They were very comedic, so you know, people enjoyed it. But it was really fun to do that, and also to have my two best friends in the audience, and my mom, Kiara and David, and my mom just sitting there, and all the wishes came in from Instagram and WhatsApp wishing me, and not only from my friends here but also from people back home, which made me emotional. And it's crazy, it was mental. And again, I remember not being nervous being on that stage. And it was similar with Secret Garden. The minute I walked on stage, I just was in my zone, and I knew that this is where I was supposed to be. So it was an incredible experience, and so was Thursford. And also having my mom be there for both Diana and Thursford. And also the very first time I did Thursford, the first opening night, and seeing 1,400 people stand and appreciate and applaud made me very emotional. And I can very much say with certainty, it kind of happened every single night. And I never thought I'd be able to, I managed to do 65 shows of Thursford. And every single time, people who would stand, however few or however many, always made me emotional and grateful for the journey that I've been on. And so that's it. And now I'm here in Feb and auditioning, trying to, get the next thing. But I'm so incredibly grateful to everyone who supported me through these past couple of years, who've been with me, who've come to see me in shows, who've championed me, because I would not have made it alone. And I hope you enjoyed the walk down memory lane with me. I'm so excited to get this channel back up and started, and I'm really excited to hear what you guys think. And if you have any ideas or any questions, please feel free to message me on Instagram. I also have Twitter also here in the comments. Leave topics you want to know or questions you want answered, really. But I hope you have an incredible time doing whatever you're going to do, and I will see you next time for Musical Theatre Time with Ali.